Hey guys, welcome inside the Guilty as Charged podcast. As always, I am your host, Steven. Joining me today to help preview the Chargers and Raiders upcoming rematch is Mr. Marcus Johnson, who is a contributor for SB Nation's Raiders site, Win City Silver and Black Pride, and then he's also the host of the Tape Don't Lie podcast. Marcus, thanks for taking the time to join me. How are you doing today?
Good man. Thanks for having me. How about yourself?
I'm doing great as well. Super excited for this matchup. And I think this is, in my opinion, the biggest, Chargers and Raiders matchup in my personal lifetime.
Yeah.
What's kind of the general consensus in Raider Nation in terms of this matchup and how you guys are feeling about, a win and in situation for the playoffs?
I think most of us are shocked, to be honest. I think after the Chiefs game where it was 48-9, I think even us on our show we were trying to start looking towards the draft. I mean, we thought the season wasn't going to end up like this, but I mean, they showed a lot of resilience. I think the defense is playing a little bit better, but I mean, they've been the benefit of some bad quarterback play as well. I think this is going to be their first real test against a guy who's not going to make bad decisions or he's going to miss a wide open T.Y. Hilton. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this week. But the defense has stepped up. I mean, they've kept the score low while this offense, who has been down since Henry Ruggs has been out, is finally starting to figure it out. I mean, and they're actually starting to move the football again. I mean, at one point they couldn't even get up. They couldn't do anything on third down. They're at 25% from week 9 to week 14, but since then they're at 46%. So the offense is starting to get better. I mean, they've gone from 16 points, 17 points to 23 against a good team, against good defense. So they're starting to get it together too as well. So I mean, they're I wouldn't say they're a hot team, but they're a team that is, they got a lot of veterans that have been there before. A lot of those Seahawks players, a lot of those, a lot of Chargers players.
Yeah.
I mean, they played the playoff games, and they've been there before. So that's what we're seeing from the defense too. I think they're kind of, the Desmond Trufant, he's played a Super Bowl. KJ Wright, he's played, he's won the Super Bowl, he's played another. A lot of those guys, Unique Ngakwe, he's played in the AFC Championship game. So they had that playoff experience more on the defense. So that's why we're seeing them step up a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think that the Raiders absolutely deserve a lot of credit for being in the situation. We've seen a ton of teams over time, be in that situation when after a blowout loss at your division rival kind of just wilt and, pack it up. And so the Chargers went through that in 2019.
Yeah.
So the Raiders deserve a ton of credit for, bouncing back. And I think it shows a lot about the leadership, the guys you mentioned. And of course, Derek Carr. I want to get to Derek specifically because people are mentioning him in the MVP conversation. I think that's a little rich, to be honest with you, but he's playing well, especially considering, the coaching change, losing Henry Ruggs. Darren Waller was out for essentially the last month. How is Derek really kind of getting the job done over the last month, and kind of what have you seen from him in terms of closing out this season?
I think with Derek is, it's hit and miss sometimes. I mean, I think with how this team is arranged, he's playing a lot of hero ball. So we're seeing a lot of him trying to make plays, and he doesn't have a lot of playmakers around him. And he's trying to make like some serious plays with them, especially like when they went on a little bit of that losing streak and there's not scoring as many points. I mean, he was trusting Zay Jones on deep balls a little bit more than he should. I feel like this year he's been trying to be a playmaker because it was working the first, with Henry Ruggs, when they started off 5-2. It was really working the way he was playing. But now I think they've adjusted the last 3 weeks, and we've seen him be more efficient. I mean, he still turned the ball over. I think he's still taking a lot of chances with some of these guys, but I think the ones against the Broncos were a little freakish besides the fumble, which, I mean, there's always been an issue with him. But, I mean, it's even a bigger issue now that he's trying to make plays, because that happens to any playmaker. They try to, if they're, Kyler Murray's fumbling all the time too. So
Sure.
Derek Carr fumbles in the pocket. So if he's trying to make plays, it's going to escalate. So, that is something that, he has to get better at to win this game, because I don't think they'd be able to turn the ball over. But I think Derek Carr is really clutch. And I think if they can keep this game close in the fourth quarter, I think he's going to play really well at that moment. And, it's and the other receivers, I think Hunter Renfrow and Zay Jones are stepping up too. So I think they're helping him play better the last couple of weeks. But, I'll say this about Carr. I think Carr, before 2020 and 2021, I feel like he's more like an Andy Dalton type of quarterback. But I feel like he's more like a Matt Ryan tier 2 quarterback. So, I mean, there's that growth there. So that's why you're able to see him where he could be like elite for like 5 games and then like, inconsistent, just like, Matt Ryan
Sure.
does all the time. So, he's left the kind of average quarterback, and now he's like the above average tier 2 quarterback that, doesn't need the greatest supporting cast, but you do need some good players around him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they have, 2 really good ones. Unfortunately, Darren Waller has been hurt. Supposedly, according to Victor Four, is kind of trending towards playing in this one. Of course, Josh Jacobs also in that. He has been playing, but he's a little bit banged up as well. What can we expect from those two in this one? Do you think either of them would be on a snap count, or do you think it would be if they play its full send?
I think if Darren Waller play, I think it's full send. I think he's going to go. I don't think they're going to be on a snap count. I think last week, even though he got COVID, I think it benefited him for this week, because I think a guy gave him a little bit more rest, because he was going to play last week, I believe. I think he was going to go out there and try to give it a shot. And then he got COVID. It didn't give him a chance, but it gave him an extra chance to rest. Because, today he's not even like he's limited today. So, maybe he'll be full by Friday, and he'll be ready to go. But I expect him full go. To be honest, I expect him to play well, but just because of the moment. He's a big time player. In the Dolphins games, the end of the year, when they had a chance to, get to the playoffs last year, he had some huge games. I think he got like 600 yards, like 4 games last year when during the time where it had to be a playoff stress. So I expect him to go out there and play really well for the Raiders. I wouldn't expect anything different. I'm sorry, who's the other guy you're talking about?
Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Josh Jacobs, though. He's always hurt. So I don't, we'll see how he goes. But they need to put him on ice, because they're have to run the football to win this game. If the Chargers got all their secondary back, and we know how that scheme goes. So they got to run the football in this game. So they're going to need Josh Jacobs, and they couldn't run the football at all last time. So we'll see. How
that's gonna be an interesting chess match in this one, because I feel like that's kind of been an emphasis. Obviously, when you don't have Darren Waller, right? You got to take advantage of who you do have, but. I know a lot of Chargers fans are like, kind of bummed out that Darren Waller is going to be back, but I'm so excited, man. I think at the end of the day, you want these teams playing at their best, and you want whoever is healthy to be healthy and on the field. And, when you get to see a matchup like Derwin James and Darren Waller, that's something that is always exciting to me when you see those good on good matchups. And I think, that just really kind of adds to the excitement of this game, to be able to see Derwin against Darren Waller. And, hopefully he's healthy. Hopefully he's not, on a pitch count. I think that just kind of, adds to the environment for me.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah, they feel like this is a playoff game. That's why I expect him to be full go. Maybe it feels like a couple weeks ago he'd be on a pitch count, but not for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know a big talking point for the Raiders before the season was the offensive line. Of course, you have Max Leather, the first round pick. His right tackle, now he's playing guard. What have you seen from the offensive line recently in terms of how they've come together over the last month or so?
Inconsistent, man. They're inconsistent too. Maybe one game you'll get a good game from Leatherwood, and then the next game he's awful. I think him and Parker. Brennan Parker's a liability altogether. He's not a good tackle. I don't care what his PFF elite grade that they give him for run blocks. So I put the tape on. What are you guys talking about? There's no pancakes or nothing. What is elite here? But Brent.
Dude, PFF gave Rashawn Slater like a 33 run blocking grade against the Giants, and I'm like, what are we watching, you guys? Are we watching the same game?
I don't understand the run blocking grades at all. I don't know if maybe it was a hold or something. I don't know. But Brandon Parker, he's a liability. I don't know. The thing is that he's on the right side, right? So Carr can avoid a little bit more on that side, and he came with Colton Miller on his blind side, because Colton Miller is I would say, I'm not gonna say he's great. He's a good left tackle, right? He's not a great left tackle. He's a good left tackle. John Simpson, he's the left guard. he's hit or miss. He might show up and play the game of his life against the Chargers, or he might show up and be absolutely awful. I don't know which one he's going to show up. And Andre James, he's an okay center, but he's just not a center. So his snaps are really slow. So that's why a lot of teams are able to get offs against the Raiders, especially if they can time the snap. That's something Joey Bosa probably, they're probably watching that, or something they already know. I know Brandon Staley's, he's all over that. So they're going to know those things, right? And they're going to be trying to get off and, pin their ears back and get off quick if they can stop the run. So, when they get to the 5 and 7 step drops, it's a long day for Carr. So they like to stay in the 3 steps, in the 1 step to kind of keep this line at bay. But when he gets third and long, I mean, it's tough for him. It is every single time.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be another one thing to look forward to. I want to shift gears for the defense really quickly because,
Okay.
I think obviously a lot of us were, a little surprised when they hired Gus Bradley, but, he's done what Gus Bradley does. He's elevated the play of some young players, and he's kind of stabilized the unit.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the John Gruden head coaching future is a little up in the air, but are Raiders fans pleased with Gus Bradley? Do they want him back, or do you think this is kind of a one and done situation with Gus Bradley?
It depends on if you like Derek Carr or not, I guess. I mean, if you don't like Derek Carr, everybody loves Gus Bradley right now. But the neutral people, I mean, it depends, man. It's just there's not enough disguise, right? I mean, the first time that we saw disguise was this past week. That was the first time I saw him do a lot of disguises that he hasn't been doing. He did a nice blitz switch up. Usually blitzes from the left side every single time. And he actually decided to blitz from the right side this time. So it was interesting that he was, I don't know, it took us some long, it took about 10 years, but we got some disguise last week. And the thing is like when you play, with Gus Bradley, you probably know this, when you play an average to below average quarterback, he does really well because, they can't always take what they give you. They don't know how to attack certain things, right? Yeah. Especially like a younger quarterback, they struggle a little bit against his cover three because he plays back, he wants you to check down. A lot of young quarterbacks, they don't have that check down ability. And when you play somebody like Justin Herbert, who's okay, all right, cool, I'm gonna keep taking that. It's different. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna keep taking that. And then let me hit Jared Cook right in your seam right there. You get a better quarterback, it just gets a little iffy, right? Because there's a lot of things Carson Wentz missed last week that if it was like Justin Herbert that they would have lost. So they have to figure that out. If that type of stuff happens, it's not going to be good because you got Roger Teamer out there who played terrible, and I'm sure Justin Herbert's going to try to attack him all day with Austin Eckler. So I mean, I don't know what the game plan is. They don't blitz either. And, that's probably one of the times when you get pressure on Herbert with a blitz. It seems like that's the only time that he doesn't handle pressure well. I feel like, this passer rating is like 99 with rushing with 4, I think it's crazy. But when you're rushing with a blitz, it's different and you get pressure. But if you don't get pressure, he burns you. But if you get pressure with the blitz, he plays a little different, but they don't blitz. So.
As we well know, we well know, it just is amazing to me that, I don't know if you know Kenny King. We had Kenny King on our show before the season, and he was like, yeah, Gus is going to do all this different stuff and change the Raiders defense. And I'm like, he's going to run nothing but cover 3 and never blitz. And that's, of course, what has happened this year.
Vanilla. For sure.
There's definitely some advantages to that, right? Like I think when you have a very young defense, like you want to make things simple for them. I think that works, right? But when you have veterans like the Raiders do, I think some disguise, some blitzing works because you have guys who can, handle that.
Yeah. And it's more about like, to me, it's when you play good quarterbacks. That's when it gets exposed. I mean, every time you play a good quarterback, I know he had the whole Mahomes thing from before, but Darren James not walking this door. So, he runs those, those type of things, and Mahomes is just killing them. And especially if they don't get a pass rush, man. It's a long day for them on the back end with a good quarterback. But just to say, you play Carson Wentz, and 20 points, 150 yards. You play Nick Mullins, you play Drew Lock, and even maybe you play Teddy Bridgewater. The Jalen Hurts, like that they had good defensive performances against. These aren't the top-notch processing quarterbacks. But then you play like the Patrick Mahomes, and Herbert had a great game against the first time, and you play like the better quarterbacks that that are willing to throw down the field. Even Dak Prescott, I think he's been struggling for I don't know how long. He threw 375 yards with like Cedric Wilson and Noah Brown. Because those are the top 10 guys. When they play this scheme, they aren't stupid. So, and it's simple. And I think that's why I don't know what he's going to do this week, but he's got to mix it up or he's going to get tore up. So,
yeah, I think that's pretty spot on. Where are you at with Versace? Is that how you say it? Where are you at with it in terms of him being like a legitimate head coaching candidate or not?
I think at first I was really down on him. I didn't feel like I kind of feel like when the Henry Ruggs thing happened, right? I feel like this team was like thinking that they were just going to tank. Right. Yeah. And I think that was kind of his approach. Like he said some weird things at press conferences, like we're not trying to win games. We're trying to control emotions and stuff like that. And I think the players a little bit decided that we don't want to lose anymore.
Yeah.
And they decided they wanted to start winning, and I think he's kind of just benefiting from it because I think his job was just to mentor people and make sure that they, because that's he's good at, make sure that their heads at the right area, that they're in the right place, handling that type of tough situation. That everybody's close to a guy that type of he does that, or however they want to handle you. Because I still feel like Brian Edwards has never got over it, and he's been awful since that happened.
Mm-hmm.
So it's it's that with that part of it, he's good. I don't know how he's going to do his coaching staff, though. I'm not 100% sure. I want Olsen back. I really don't want Bradley back that much, in my opinion. I'd rather have somebody that can do some of these too high stuff. You got good safeties over there. I think somebody can mix it up a little bit and get Moreg to actually play like Justin Simmons or something. That's kind of what I want. So it'll be interesting if they keep him. Like, who does he keep? Because if he keeps Bradley again, I don't think you'd get this kind of performance twice, in my opinion. So.
Yeah, once you, I don't know what the Raiders are going to do with Casey Hayward and Denzel Perryman and all these guys who I love. Yeah, I do kind of wish that Denzel Perryman were still on the Chargers, but once you get kind of out of the comfort zone of all these players who know that system inside and out, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with the defensive skills back or not. But I want to get your thoughts on kind of a matchup or two that Raiders fans are kind of, I don't want to say scared of, but like worried about ahead of Sunday Night Football in terms of possibly an advantage the Chargers have over the Raiders.
I would say the advantage that the Chargers have over the Raiders is I think that I think it's Brandon Staley. I think Brandon Staley is a better coach. They're gonna be prepared. They're gonna be ready for everything the Raiders do. That's what happened in the last game. And then Gruden adjusted pretty well. But we don't have Gruden no more. Gruden's not here. I don't know what the game plan is. The Raiders have been doing a lot of things that they didn't do early in the year that I chart I've been charting the Raiders for about 3 years, and recently they've been doing a lot of things that I haven't seen. So they're mixing it up a little bit differently than they used to, because at this point last year, John Gruden's already dumped all the load out. And he's just running the stuff that he already did. So that's why he always has those tail offs. But, that's why you're seeing a little bit different, because they're running different plays too. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. But I honestly, that's my advantage here. I think, he's more aggressive than Bisaccia. So he's going to go for a fourth down more, especially that's this type of game. I think he powers Herbert a lot. I think the positivity that he shows to Herbert is why Herbert's playing so well. I think that type of coach that puts that positivity in you throw a pick, he's making sure, he's going to talk to you about it and not tell you that you're terrible. He's going to make sure that, okay, yeah, you can't do that again, but, this is what else you did good. So I think that element that he has, I think that's kind of the main difference, because, there's matchups like, Waller versus James and things like that. But,
sure.
And of course, like Bosa versus Parker, which is probably the scariest part, but I that's why I think the advantage here too. I just think that they have a little bit of a better identity of who they are.
Okay.
They have an identity of who they are. They know what they're going to be when they go in there. They have a different mindset. They're all connected a little bit. Raiders have Tom Cable, who wants to run the offense, and that's what they had a little rift early on. That with Greg Olsen, he wanted to be the coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tom Cable's terrible. So I'm telling you, that's why I kind of feel like is the big difference here. I just think they have a better coaching staff, and they'll be prepared. The Raiders got to be prepared for them. So
yeah, I've got to say I'm hoping that Gus mixes it up in one way, and I hope we see Max Crosby versus Rashawn Slater a little bit more than we did in the first one.
Yeah, me too. I hope they mix it up, because I think I just having Ngakoue on the same side all the time doesn't work either. So
yeah,
flipping it around, but
yeah, that's something that he always did with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. It was like Joey's rushing from the left, Melvin rushing from the right. Occasionally we'll like do the amoeba like walking around thing, but for the most part, it was Joey, you rush from the left and you don't get to move around. So that's been something that I've really enjoyed about Brandon Staley. They use Joey Bosa from the interior a little bit more often. They switch sides with Uchenna Nwosu every once in a while. So they move around Joey Bosa quite a bit, which is something that I've enjoyed quite a lot from Brandon Staley's approach versus Gus Bradley's.
Okay, yeah, I imagine, man. Just that switch up, and especially that's why you're probably going to see Bosa inside on Leatherwood more than you probably think. That's attack him and put that inside. That's pretty smart. So
yeah. Well, Marcus, this has been great. Can't thank you enough for joining us today. We'll get you out of here on this final prediction for this one and kind of how you see it playing out on Sunday night.
Sunday night. I don't know. I'm gonna use just some reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology.
I'm gonna go reverse psychology. Also, this happened 10 years ago. I don't know if 2011 Raiders versus Chargers. Carson Palmer. The Chargers weren't even good that year. They weren't even supposed to beat us. It just, it's so. I guess as a scorned Raiders fan, I think the Chargers are probably gonna pull this out late. I do think it's gonna be a battle between Herbert and Carr. I mean, Herbert's really clutched this year. He's got 5 game-winning drives, and Carr's got 6. So I think there's gonna be a little bit of fireworks late, and who has the ball last. But I still think Brandon Staley is just a little bit more aggressive, and there's gonna be a couple 4th downs where he goes for it. It's gonna make a difference. So.
Well, I hope you are right. I hope the reverse psychology does not reverse. But in all seriousness, I'm really excited about this matchup. I don't know if you're going, but my co-host and I will be there.
Okay.
So it's going to be a super fun matchup. Going to be an electric environment for sure. Tell our listeners where they can get some Raiders intel on your behalf if they are so interested.
Yeah, so check me out on Twitter at the Mark John NFL. So you can go ahead and follow me there on Twitter. We'll probably have a Chargers preview, live stream on Saturday on our YouTube page. So go to Tape Don't Lie on YouTube. You can check that out. We're fair guys. We're not if the Raiders are going to lose, we'll tell you. So
yeah.
But check us out there. And then, if you like quarterbacks, check me out on iTunes. I break down all the quarterbacks, a little pocket awareness. So, so you can go check me out on those.
Cool. Sounds good, Marcus. Thank you so much. And we'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.